What you see on the site is that a lot of attention has been paid to how we're going to separate our drop-offs. Here on Pennsylvania Ave is where we're going to create a drop-off for pre-KK. And then off of Warren will be where you have the 1st through 8th drop-off, and then of course the bus drop-off off of Wendelkin. Carl, do you want to speak do you want to say a little bit about this, or we can come back to it after?
I'll come back to it. I think that slide at the end.
Perfect. Sounds good. So this is a quick snapshot of what Carl will be speaking to later on as well. I will quickly touch on the experience that has been created in terms of the additions that are being added on to MLK Arts Academy. So as you can see on the site, a lot of attention has been paid to creating this new front entry for the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Arts Academy. It has this presence right off of the street and really creates a moment that brings you into the building. And it has this theme of connecting back to Forest Theater in terms of the color, the identity, the imagery that has been used. And then off into where the middle school is being added, there is our storm shelter. You can kind of see how the two moments speak to each other. That's it. So this is the end of the experience slide, but we will go back to the site itself, and I will hand it over to Carl so he can further expand on the zoning.
Yeah, one of the things that we tried to do with these two additions was to free up some of the traffic congestion around there, and obviously the site is very tight and it's surrounded by 4 streets, and it makes it difficult when we're just doing two small additions to free it up and try to get all the cars and everything off the street. But we were fortunate that we could separate the pre-K and K drop off and pickup area and the 1st through 8th. And that's kind of important because each of those two groups, especially the pre-K and K, is a slower sort of in and out of the car. We understand that they're smaller children and stuff. So we want to keep that group separated because we need to put a little more control on that group since they're smaller kids. And then the 1st through 8th grade is at the opposite end so that we can keep those separated. Now, obviously, if a family or something or a group has a child in K and say grade 2, then things can be done and that can be handled on a case-by-case basis. Either the 2nd grader goes to the pre-K area or the K person goes to the 2nd grade area. That happens at schools all over the city and the district. So, and then the other issue is a lot of the students that come to the school will be bused to the school. So we've put an area for those to be out of the way. It's on the street. It's not the best scenario, but it's on a side street that doesn't have as much traffic, obviously, as Pennsylvania does. So we think this is a good plan to try to keep as many cars as possible. There'll be school zones around the site, pretty much as they are today, and then there'll be some one-way traffic in pickup and drop-off times as needed to sort of cue that traffic around. So I think it's a good plan for the situation we're given with this small site and the existing streets and everything. But we've sort of divided up the students into 2 cohorts so that we can sort of lessen the traffic congestion around the school. So I think that's pretty much the end of our presentation, and we'll open it up for questions and answers.
And as a reminder, if you have any, if you want to share your question out loud, please raise your hand and we'll ask you to unmute. If you want to write it down, we can read it. Just use the chat function that's found at the bottom of your screen as well. Well, no questions so far. Oh, great. One question. Ms. Walker? If you want to unmute.
Yes, my question was, I'm new on the call. Hi, my name is LaShurl Walker. I'm with the Forest Theater, Forest Forward, and I am the Director of Community Engagement. And I'm pretty sure this has been discussed, but the new part of the construction, will it face where the entrance is already? Is it still just the newer entrance on that same entrance, or will it be somewhere else?
So the entry is maintained right here off of Wendelken. Is that your question?
It's somewhere else, Miss Walker. This is Wayne Rayno with HKS.
yeah.
Just if you
My
would
question,
point to the part of the building, Farheen, that we're filling in and where the entry is right now. It's inside that corner.
Right here.
Show her where the entry door actually is right now, inside that corner. Keep
Oh,
going.
sure. It's back in here.
Keep going. Right.
Yeah,
Stop
there.
right there. So the entry is in a vestibule that's a 45-degree angled vestibule in that corner. And what we were able to do is infill that part of the site. Actually, the site, Miss Walker, had lots of challenges with easements and water utilities and gas utilities and whatnot. And this, after a long, exhaustive study, like Mr. Alfred said, we've been working hard to find the best place to put a good block of school right there to add a black box theater and a dance studio and all of the things that the fine arts program at MLK needs. So the other good thing we did was we stayed within city ordinances on parking requirements while minimizing parking in that area. You can see there used to be, that's where the larger parking lot used to be. Now we have some head-in parking close to the face of the school building. You see two little spots for accessibility, and then you see several on the outer rim of that driveway that she was pointing to. Does that answer your question, ma'am?
yes, it does. Thank you so much for explaining that.
Yes, ma'am.
We have a couple questions in the chat. When will construction begin? And will it be ready for the 22-23 school year? It might be 23-24 school year. That I don't think it's this year might be too soon.
Yes, this is Sultan Cole, project manager for Dakita Services. Construction is scheduled for spring of 2023, and we are, the project schedule does have MLK phase 3 opening for the fall. Yes.
Okay. And the second question we have in the chat is, who is the general contractor for the project?
The general contractor has not been chosen at this point. We are going to be setting the bid proposals that is on our schedule, and at that time, contractors will be able to bid on the project, and from that point, it goes to review with the team that is going to be reviewing those bid proposals in the selection process, and then upon that completion of the selection process, it will go to the board, school board, for approval. And all of that should be happening with the board approval, I believe, in the month of January.
Okay, thank you so much. Any other questions from anyone in the audience?
Good evening. I have a question. I am an instructor here at Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Arts Academy, Dion Foreman. I was wanting to know, and I'm uncertain if it had been discussed, are there any plans for additional restroom facilities? I know that I've heard about different rooms and whatnot, but what about additional restroom facilities, not only for the scholars, but for the adults within the building as well? Is any of that in the plans?
I'm gonna let the architect respond to that.
Okay.
Wayne, do you want to take that?
Yes, we're here. Sorry, Brent. Farheen and I were just chatting, if you will, on Teams to talk about this in two ways. Yes, we have added restrooms. We've added restrooms. We've added dressing rooms that will accommodate any, and we've enhanced some of these staff toilets. We've converted some of the toilets in the existing wing to staff toilets. If you'll notice, there's a second wing that we didn't circle a moment ago. It's in what I'll call the northwest part of the site. There you go. That's a storm shelter, which has new restrooms to meet all those accommodations that you just talked about, both
So-
for staff and students.
And then what about existing restrooms that we have currently?
Correct.
Are there any, anything slated to update those?
I believe we definitely have new exhaust fan systems, some finishes, some things like that are being worked on now in phase 2. So yes,
Thank you.
yes, ma'am.
Any other questions, either in the chat or raise your hand? We'll ask you to unmute, jump in.
Yes. Hi, this is Ashley Wilson with Forest Forward. Another quick question. Detail the aspects of each of the phases. So I've heard phase 2 and phase 3. Can you detail what's encompassed in each of those phases?
Yes, phase 2 that we're currently in right now had a number of upgrades, MEP upgrades in regards to replacing the rooftop units, air handling units, pumps within the school, boiler system, the boiler. We've also had some upgrades in the classrooms themselves. Teaching walls were upgraded, as well as the library, the lighting in the library. We also had some additional scope when we added a pre-K classroom with a restroom in there as well. So we've had a number of those types of upgrades, especially on the MEP side. And we also upgraded the PA system, public announcement system, this year as well too. So in phase 3, excuse me, which is what we're talking about today, we're adding additional square footage to the building in and of itself. So again, as the architects showed us, the Fine Arts Edition and the relocation of some of the administrative offices as well. And then of course, the expansion for our middle school, which is going to take place. Currently right now we have 7th graders, but next year we'll be having 8th graders coming in. So we're preparing to accommodate them with the 2-story addition. So that's mostly structural on the phase 3 side, much more so than phase 2.
So what would be the total occupation?
Total occupancy for the school?
Yes, sir.
Right now, the current enrollment, I think Principal Sneed can speak to this. I know each year we're adding on to an additional grade. Next year will be 8th grade as well. Principal Sneed, what is the current enrollment that you have now?
It's 476.
Yes, and so we are expanding to accommodate, I believe,
660.
660 students. Yes.
Is that going to include another nurses station?
An additional nursing station?
Yes.
No, it
No, it
does
will
not
not.
have a new. Mhm.
The expansion includes additional office space for APs, assistant principals, as well as counselors. We also have some expansion that's going to involve, of course, all of our academic classrooms and science labs. And what we're really excited about too is the Fine Arts Edition.
So we have a few more comments and questions in the chat. Somebody mentioned that the floors in the bathroom need upgrading, that they had been here before the school changed from being a learning center. So something that they would like to point out. Also a question about the cafeteria. What, will there be a cafeteria? How will that look?
The existing cafeteria will be as is, so there is no new cafeteria.
Will the interior renderings or designs be shared as well?
I think Brent will answer that at the end of the meeting, and the answers typically that these presentations do go online. Mr.
Yeah,
Alfred.
that's correct. Yeah, we can share some more interior rendering. We were this meeting was more about zoning and envelope and traffic management around it. But when we post this to the website, we can send a link where you can see the interior renderings as well.
Okay. And how many classrooms will be in phase 3?
Hi, this is Kesha here. So in the academic building, we are adding science labs for grades 5th through 8th. And so those are the classrooms we are adding, and we are repurposing some of the existing spaces for 8th grades and 7th grade, 3 sections per grade.
Right, thank you.
I do want to add that it wasn't just a flat addition, that we reconnoitered the existing classroom grade levels, and we worked really hard to come up with a holistic solution to get adjacencies next to curriculums, next to grade level teaching. And I think the result turned out rather nice.
Great, thank you. I'm not sure if y'all can speak to this as of yet, but how has infrastructure issues been solved for this project?
Yes, Ms. Wilson, I guess you'd have to clarify like street infrastructure or infrastructure in the building.
Feel free to unmute, Ms. Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry. I would say a little bit of both.
I can
Street
speak to
as
that
well
if you
as-
want, Brent.
Yeah, I'll let Mr. Renaud speak on it. Go ahead.
So HKS has been fortunate enough to be working on this campus for several years. We're actually in the middle of constructing a second phase at the moment. And some of the things that we did really well was take a look at the infrastructure that needed upgrading. The whole electrical service needs to be upgraded. It is being upgraded right now. And since we were assigned phase 3, we made sure that the electrical upgrade that's being paid for right now in phase 2 will accommodate phase 3. We've looked at the storm sewer infrastructure in the right of way, and the city was very involved in some of that infrastructure upgrade as well. And that all of the issues that needed to be addressed are being addressed very well by the school district and are in our scope of work in terms of connecting to the infrastructure and maintaining as well as upgrading infrastructure pieces where needed. So when the building comes online, it's going to work at capacity as a new building should, with the right infrastructure supplying all of those services that we would be concerned about.
Another question, what is the total overall cost of the project and what is the minority participation goal?
Well, for the 2020 bond, it's 17.2 million is the total project dollars. And for DSD, the minority participation goal for professional services like your architects are 30%. And for construction, it's going to be 35% will be our goal. But as someone stated earlier, we have not bid the project and we have not started construction yet.
I'd like to just boast that HKS is exceeding those minimum expectations for our diversity plan.
What are you at, Wayne?
I think we're around 33.
That's good.
Great. Thank you. Any other questions? Just reminding you, if you want to unmute and ask your question, or you can put it down in the chat and we will read it out to get an answer for you. While you all are thinking, I don't know if Elena Bates, who is the director with OTI, if you would like to speak a little bit more about the purpose of the school and some of the programming that there will be.
Thank you, Marty Carmen. Elena Bates, Director in OTI, and we are just super excited to see these plans and to know of all the work that Principal Sneed and her staff has accomplished this far, and the vision that she has for the school in all of the fine arts facilities and what's to come. So I don't know if there are specific questions, but we are really excited and happy to see all of this work that has been in the plans for so long.
Great, thank you so much. Principals Sneed anything that you would like to mention about the school and the future plans once all these projects are finished?
Well, I see we have about 31 people on. I just wanted to say with this particular zoning meeting that I am going to do something once a month. And this is not the first and won't be the last time that the parents, the guardians, as well as my faculty and staff hear about this. So it will be done during parent conferences, as well as coffee with the principal during SBDM meetings and some other times as well, just to make sure that a lot of these questions are being asked. Like, for example, Ms. Brandy Hill wants to know, will there be enough parking for staff? There will be. It just will not happen in the front of the building. I heard someone ask about the restrooms. It's not as easy as I thought it would be to add, not even 1 million restrooms, but just an additional 4 to 6 restrooms in each area. It's just not as easy as that. And then I heard someone ask something about, I forgot the other one. I thought I wrote it down, but those are things that we will handle in-house. Those are things that will be answered during admin team meetings, staff meetings, as well as when we meet with our parents. And this will not happen just one time. Those of us that are on here that are asking some questions that we will be answering during our time together.
Great, thank you so much. If there are any other questions, please feel free to ask them now. If you want to see any other slides and that were presented in greater detail, let us know and we'll be happy to show them again. All right. Well, thank you so much. If there are no other questions, Chief Alfred, do you have any closing remarks? Anything you would like to add?
No, I think this is a great meeting. 32 participants showed up for MLK. I'm really excited about that, to get you guys feedback, and I think we're on the right track. Our next step, we're going to take this to City Planning Commission to get approved, and it will go to our City Council. Shortly after that, we'll wrap up the construction documents and bid the project. And as Mr. Sultan Cole said earlier, we plan on starting in the spring with some construction. So hopefully I'll see you guys at the groundbreaking. If not, I'll definitely catch you at the ribbon cutting. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. And we will have some more information about the project and some more looks of the interior in the Bond 2020 website. There is a project page for MLK, and we will add information and news and updates to that page. So definitely bookmark that one. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic evening, and we will see you at the next one.